In this video, we're going to be looking at the demand and supply application in the transport industry. So first of all, what is transport exactly? Okay, it is the movement of freight and people from one place to another. Okay, so freight is just like another way of saying goods. Okay, so we can say that transport is a derived demand, okay? And what that means is that the demand for transport is derived from something else. So this is an example. So for example, the demand for goods and services, okay, leads to an increased demand for transport. So if you buy more goods from Amazon, for example, that means there's going to be an increased demand from Amazon for drivers to drive your parcel to you. Okay, that's just a brief example. So if there's more demand for goods and services in the economy, it's highly likely that there's going to be an increased demand for transport as well. Okay, so just to summarize once more demand for goods and services, more transport demanded. So the PED, price elasticity of demand, in this industry can be quite elastic, which means that people are very sensitive to price changes, because transport is a very important part of the economy, and sometimes it's a necessity for many people to travel. So people are always looking for the cheapest ways to get to where they need to be. Okay. However, in some industries and in some markets, commuter travel, for example, people can be more price insensitive. Okay, so inelastic demand, and that's out of necessity. So for example, peak time travel on the trains going to London, there isn't really a viable alternative to that, which is why people are prepared to pay thousands of pounds per year on their train ticket. Okay, however, if there was a viable option or a few more viable options out there, we'd find that the elasticity of demand would become more elastic, but that just isn't the case at the moment. The next thing we'll talk about is the YED, the income elasticity of demand. For the whole industry, okay, transport is seen as a normal good, okay, because the more money you earn, it's more likely you're going to be traveling, okay, or your need for transport is going to be greater. Okay, so and the same thing goes for the whole economy. If the economy produces more output or earns more income in a given year, it's likely that there's going to be an increased demand for transport, as we talked about up there. So however, if we look at the industries within the markets within the whole travel industry, we can see that YED can sometimes be negative. So for example, in the case of public transport, okay, so buses and trains, for example, if you earn more money, it's highly unlikely you're going to continue to travel, let's say, to work by bus or by train. Okay, this is known as an inferior good. Okay, if people earn lots and lots of money, they stop using the trains, they stop using public transport. Okay, so that means the YED for private transport is positive. So the more money you earn, the more you're likely going to go to work or where you need to go by private means. So that could be by car, okay, because of the increased comfort of the car. That could be by taxi, so someone to come pick you up. Limousine if you get very rich, or private jet. And this is just to explain, obviously, the richer you are, the more private and luxurious your travel becomes. Okay, so the YED for private transport is positive, so it's a normal good, whereas YED for public transport is an inferior good. We're now going to look at a quick demand and supply diagram, and this is going to be in the case of the car travel industry. So if we look at this diagram here, first thing you'll notice is that the supply curve is perfectly inelastic. So the supply of roads is perfectly inelastic. Now why is that? Because it takes very, very long to build roads. You can't, if there's an increase in demand suddenly, people can't just build a new road to fulfill that extra demand. So roads are pretty much perfectly inelastic. It takes many years to build them, so there is only one potential quantity available. We also can have excess demand in this market, so during busy periods, okay, and we refer to this as traffic, okay, that's why we have traffic jams. So I'm going to explain this here. So let's say, for example, we have this price, so the price of the road, of using the road, is very low compared to what it should be up here. What happens is the demand for this road is here, whereas the supply of the road is there. Okay, so that creates an excess demand for the road. So there's too many people demanding use of the road, and that leads to congestion. So yeah, we'll find that in very built up areas, you need to actually start charging people to use the road. So that might be a toll road, okay, or it might be a congestion zone. Okay, so you'll get that in London particularly, where there's lots and lots of demand for use of the roads, and basically they have to charge for it, otherwise the traffic will just be unbelievable and no one can use the road. Okay, in most cases there isn't excess demand, but it's generally to do with the peak times that we get this problem. Okay, that's the end of the video. Any questions, please let me know by putting them down below. I'll see you next time.